These videos are designed to get into the minds of some successful business owners. We'll be able to see how they think, how they tackle problems, but overall, we'll see how they've generated success for themselves. So this week, we've got Mr. Roel Mojico. He's a 25-year-old business owner, started out in sales 5 years ago. And what a great choice it's been for him. So this year, he was actually on pace to generate £1 million turnover, and that's pretty good for someone who's just 25.
All right, cool. So, first question I want to ask, Ro, is, tell us a bit about yourself and what you did before you got into business.
Before I got into business, I started very young though, so I didn't have much experience.
How old were you?
I started when I was 20. Not actually that young, to be fair, but still quite young in the business world, I guess. I came back from traveling, so I was traveling. For pretty much just under a year, and I ended up working for like a software engineering company only for a couple of months. I wouldn't really say that it was like experience. It wasn't, but it was the first proper job that I really had. Didn't like it though. So I tried it, didn't like it, so I left it. And then
why didn't you like it? Because there's a lot of people that start a job and they want to find something else. So what was it you didn't like?
You know what? I like learning new things. And when things don't challenge me, I have like a very short attention span. And plus, I knew that it was never going to be my goal to work there forever. It was only just, I was just earning some cash before I went to university. And once I hit the goal of making the cash that I wanted to make, then I pretty much left straight away.
Did you go to uni?
No.
So after that, did you get into sales after that job there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the difference there then? So obviously, you're still in sales, you run a business now. So
yeah,
why did you decide that? Because that's a pretty big decision, especially at 20 years old.
Sure.
To not go to uni.
Yeah, of course. Especially from my background as well. Like, not to stereotype or anything, but I come from an Asian background, so like in order to have success, you have to go to uni. You know how people have an option of like whether they're going to uni or not. I didn't realize it was an option. Like, how you have key stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. I thought university was like key stage 7. That's the only reason my parents moved to the UK, was so I can have education here and get a degree in the UK. Not deciding not to go to university was definitely well outside of even just like my comfort zone, or well outside of like the perception of how I kind of thought my life was going to pan out. But I don't know, I fell in love with sales though. I fell in love, not really the sales aspect of it, but just the person I was becoming. Maybe as a sales.
So what do you mean? Because what do you mean by that? Because I think a lot of people that aren't in sales are maybe looking for a career change.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The stigmatism with sales is it's not the most enjoyable job. So what was it you enjoyed?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as I said, I was still very young, so I was still trying to kind of figure myself out. Still like insecure, still trying to find what type of person I wanted to become. And I felt after even after like a week or 2 weeks, or even after a month of working in the sales industry, I already noticed that I knew more about myself in that space of time than I'd ever I figured out more about myself in that space of time within those 2-3 months than I'd ever figured out in my whole life. Do you make sense? Like I had like bigger goals. I was exposed to more of what you could achieve. And I was gaining confidence, and that was my primary focus. I never really had like I was never that kid that I wanted to be like an astronaut, or I wanted to be I don't know. I mean, I had like I had like slight interest in like architecture, or like a tiny bit with sport, but I never excelled in any of those things, And then when I got into sales, you didn't really have to have a special talent, okay, or you didn't have to be extremely gifted at something. Everything's just a learned skill. So I watched people that were better than me at the game. I mimicked and copied and found out my own style, and I didn't have to be anybody else. I could just be me. That gave me more confidence.
Sure. And I think that was important to me as well because, my background is in forensic science and worked in the lab. So, one thing that stood out to me when I was working in the lab was there was no one there that I didn't want to be in their position. Yeah. And I think when I came into sales, there's a lot of, sales is known to generate a lot of high earners. And when I was 23, obviously you were 20, that was the main thing that appealed to me.
Yeah.
If you were to list a set of characteristics for, in terms of a typical salesperson, typically they'd be like outgoing, arrogant, super confident. I wasn't like that. So do you think anyone can get good at sales?
Yeah, 100%. I wasn't the most confident person. Like I might have tried to portray myself as confident. However, inside I wasn't very confident. Maybe it was all like a front as well because I was still like young and I didn't really know what kind of person I wanted to be. I didn't really know who I was yet. Confidence really comes from like, again, level of understanding and producing results. At the end of the day, sales is just numbers. Cool. And then once I started to realize that, then it gave me a lot more confidence.
And the career you're in now, obviously you run a successful business. The things you've learned on your journeys there, how do you feel like they've helped you in your personal life?
I understand that there's a difference between where I am at now, okay, and where I want to be, okay. And if I don't have what I want, or if I haven't achieved something that I've wanted to achieve, or if I want something bad enough, I just know that I can have it. Cool.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it's just if I want something enough, whether it be, I don't know, whether it be fitness, okay, or whether it be, I don't know, relationships, okay. If I want it bad enough, then like I can make it happen. Cool. And maybe because I know it is just a series of actions.
It's a known fact that not everyone that takes this career on, just like any other career, not everyone does well. So what do you think is the big separator between people that do well in this industry and people that don't?
Sure. I mean, obviously it's not easy. That's probably why people don't do well. And that's not hidden away. Like in anything, when you go through adversity or you go through struggles, those are the times where you really find out whether you want it or not.
Sure.
There was so many people that were way more talented than me when I first started, or had like or way more qualified to be able to achieve obviously anything that I've ever achieved. However, the difference was just stickability really. In those times where it was difficult and it was hard and it was and I wanted to quit or leave or anything like that, the one thing I said to myself was, is it going to be worth it? And then the mindset I had was, I'll never know until I keep it going. And then because I kept it going, then I found out for myself whether it was, and it definitely is.
100%. I think stickability is probably the number one thing you need to succeed in anything really, because I've known you for 5 years now.
5 years.
5 years, and whenever I think about you, I'm like, this guy's never going to quit ever. I can always rely on you because you just have that stickability. And just like me, when I started out in the industry, I definitely wasn't the most skilled person. Coming from science to sales,
sure.
It was tough to start off with, but I was never going to quit. And there was this person that started a day after me in sales, and he was way more talented than me. And I kind of looked at him and thought, I'll never be as good as him. And then one day he just quit. And I didn't, and I don't know where he's at now, but I'm sure he's okay. But yeah, stickability is definitely a big one. And so, what do you think you struggled with in sales and running a business?
Everything really. Confidence at first, because whenever you try something new, and there's always going to be a level of fear. Like going to school for the first time was like a struggle, or starting a new job for the first time was obviously out of my comfort zone. But whenever I started in sales, you realize you get put outside your comfort zone quick, like fast. Okay, like I remember my first time working, like getting rejected a couple of times. I was like, I'd never been rejected like 90% of the people I speak to straight away. Do you know what I mean? So obviously that was a tough pill to swallow when I first started, but then I just had to get over it. Cool, I wasn't the fastest person to learn the skill, but I knew that the more times I did it, the better I was going to get. So.
Okay. And what advice would you give someone today if they're just about to start out in a career in sales?
Maybe just be coachable. You have to understand if you've never ever been in sales before, okay, or you've never been in a specific career before, whether it be sales or anything. Like, you have to understand, like, you have no right to really judge yourself on how good you're going to be straight away, because, like, how could you, like, when have you ever been great at something straight away? Even if it was like when you were a child, like learning to walk, like, you didn't stand up straight away and like you were up straight and you got from A to B. Like, you fell over a couple times, you grazed your knee, you cried, you crawled, you hung on like you were balancing from the wall and stuff. And but you had no doubt or you had no fear. You just got on with it and you just kept on going until you were able to learn, until you were able to do it. And that's kind of the same as this. Like, it's just persistence until you get this, until you acquire the skill that you want to acquire. Cool, but yeah, be coachable. Find the way to cheat, and okay, the cheat code to success is just find someone that has that ability, listen to them enough, and then mimic them.
And you're running a successful business before this, coronavirus issue. You're on pace to, turn over £1 million this year, which is great. You're what, 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So obviously, in order for you to do that, you need to be good at developing people. So, and you've obviously trained a lot of people. So you're going to see trends in, people that do well and trends that people don't. So what are probably the main attributes someone that does well in sales?
Yeah.
Someone that does.
I was once told, like, look for good people and you can teach them how to do the sales, because you can't teach like a salesperson to be a good person. Okay. So yeah, when I'm looking for talent, or when I'm looking for for great talent to bring into my company, those are the people that I'm looking for. I'm looking for like people that are reliable. I'm looking for people that are accountable. I'm looking for I look for people that can talk big, but they're willing to back up as well.
Yeah, I wrote an article the other day on LinkedIn. I was talking about the difference between hard skills and soft skills. So, hard skills are stuff like the skills you need to do to complete the job. So in our instance, it'll be sales skills, overturning objections, etc. And I always say, when I'm looking to train people, or when I'm selecting someone that I want to train, I look at their soft skills over their hard skills. So soft skills is stuff like work ethic, attitude, willingness to learn, because that stuff can be developed, it can be taught. But my view is that hard skills is the company's responsibility to teach you. The soft skills is your responsibility to develop. And when we're looking to coach people, we're looking for the quickest win.
Yeah.
We're looking for the people that want to do it. So I think the soft skills are definitely way more important than hard skills, because the hard skills we can teach that, but it's really hard to teach, work ethic, willingness to learn, etc.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, well, thanks very much. If you guys feel like you connected with Roel, you can follow him on Instagram. It's Roel Mojico.